Okay, Sheridan, is it just me, or do you feel like there has been a rise of ginger MMCs in book reading?
I actually think you're right. Like, I think that it's more common. I think I've read more books with them.
I've been going on like just like random reads, and it feels like almost every book, it's like he's got like either blonde or brown, right? Pick whatever base hair color with a reddish hue, and it's always red now. And I was like, what is with these gingers? Where are they rising out from?
And some of them, it's not even a hue. This is actually a really interesting topic of conversation. I love it. I think it's unique. I think it's fantastic. I think red hair is beautiful. Like, I am here for it. We all know we love tall, dark, and handsome. Like, the dark hair over the blonde male main character is totally a thing. No hate to blondes, but
says the blonde.
Typically, dark hair is like in our male main characters. That's what we want to see. But I'm like vibing. I like it. It's different. It's a change.
Okay, I'm going to say something so messed up.
Uh-oh.
I think it's totally fine when the female lead is a ginger because I think females as gingers are pretty. Any form of a ginger, I think is pretty. But I cannot picture a singular hot ginger man.
Oh, I totally can.
Celebrity.
The actor from Outlander is like a reddish brown.
I've never seen Outlander.
Well, you got to watch it. He's super hot. You got to watch it. And he's definitely
and they always have a
reddish
beard.
Brown.
And I don't know why that makes me creepier. Like, why is there beard?
Really? You know what? Quick side note. My husband has a tricolored beard, and there's red in it. When you see him next time, there's red. This part of his beard
Come
is
stand
red.
in the sun so I can look at your
Yes.
beard.
Yes. And then he has blonde as a mustache, red, and dark underneath. He has a tricolored facial hair situation going on.
My husband does have like random reddies in there, but I'm talking like
there
a full ginger beard. I'm talking like sun is shining, face is maroon.
There's another one. So definitely the guy from Outlander, super hot. There's totally another one. It just is escaping me at this time.
Because he's not real.
No. I loved Fred and George Weasley from Harry Potter. I don't like Ron.
They did grow up well. They did grow up well. That's a fair argument.
Yeah.
But with a beard, it would be a no.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't think they could have a beard. Just them. I'm
struggling with the ginger beard.
You know when you say red beard, what it really makes. Did you ever watch How You Train Your Dragon?
No, I haven't.
It's great. It's a great animated movie. It's fantastic. All of them. There's like a million actually. They're all fantastic. But the dad has like at least I think I'm talking about the right movie. It might be Brave, the Disney movie. I'm trying to remember my animated movies with people with red hair.
Could be How to Train Your Dragon. Could be a Disney princess.
Could be a different one. The dad has red hair. Anyways, and that's what it makes me. Gimli from Lord of the Rings. No.
That's my point.
No. But he's not meant to be in those animated movies.
You didn't sell your point.
Look up the main character from Outlander. He's very hot. Very hot. And Fred and George Weasley.
Of how people feel about the rise of the ginger MMC.
We do. We need to know. We need to know the thoughts.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yes. I'm going to send you the picture of the guy from Outlander, and I'm going to change your mind.
Flood me with your pictures. All right. Let's get into it. I'm Jordan.
Yes. I'm Sheridan.
And together we're Sippin on Spice podcast.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about just like a million different bookish topics. So this is going to be a hilarious and great episode. And I think our thoughts are just going to wander where they go.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. Do we want to kick it off? Because this past week or so, we've actually read like drastically different books for the most part. Do we want to kick off like alternating what we read and how we'd rate it? Would we recommend?
Yeah. I also will preface this by saying that I went down specific author benders. So a lot of what I've read a lot, but I read a lot within a few specific authors.
Okay, cool. What I read is because of Bookstagram and BookTok. They got me. They got me on a few of these. Okay, so number one, I'll start with the duology, Heartless Hunter and Rebel Witch.
Yes.
And while I was obsessed and I could not put it down, like I was hooked, I'll say. I was hooked. I could not put the books down. I read through them extremely quickly. But would I recommend them to you? I'm going to choose to say no there. As shocking as that may be.
Keep it high level because this was on my TBR.
Okay.
And just why you wouldn't recommend it to me.
Okay.
Without spoilers.
No spoilers. I wouldn't recommend it to you because of the male main character. Actually, there's two reasons. One is We'll debate later. I'm going to put a pin in because we're going to debate later. But the second reason is because I think the male main character, in my opinion, I do think I'm going to get hate mail. And I want to say I really enjoyed these books. I could not put them down and read them quickly because the plot is really interesting and the world building was fast. The male main character waffles.
Oh.
He waffles.
Yeah, I can't handle a waffle. I won't ever forgive you.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything else away.
What would you rate
he
them?
Definitely waffles.
You can rate them individually too. So.
Heartless Hunter, I'm going to say, actually, I liked Heartless Hunter more. I'm going to give it like 4-star. And then Rebel Witch, it's like the opposite of what I've seen online. I'm going to give Rebel Witch like a 3-star. Maybe 3.5. 3.5.
Where's it on the penne scale?
Oh, it's YA. So maybe like 1 penne.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, there's like closed door scenes.
Okay.
But yeah, there's tension. There's build up. But I do think it's technically classified as YA. So I'd say like 1 penne, if that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the plot was excellent, fantastic. That's where I'm starting.
Okay, so the most recent one I read was The Charlie Method. This is Elle Kennedy's new book in her, I'm actually not sure which series it is. So there's Off Campus, there's Briar U, and then there's this third universe. So we've had Dixon Rule and The Graham Effect.
Yes.
And then this is the third, The Charlie Method. It is the first Why Choose, so 2 males, 1 female kind of relationship. I'm a huge Elle Kennedy fan, huge fan of these series. I will say for me, while the plot was good, I really, really struggle with Why Choose. And it's only just because I feel like no matter when the Why Choose happens, no matter how good the plot is, they have to put a substantial amount of spice in it to make sense as to why she picks extra people, if that makes sense. So for example, say a traditional contemporary, any contemporary, I think generally falls into like a 3 penne area.
Yeah.
It's typical, right? I think a Why Choose is almost always a 4 or more.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I find that when we hit that extra penne, I start to skim because this, like, it's just to me a lot of. Yeah. And, you know, we can talk about this later because I do want to talk about this a little bit more. But for me, I struggle with that. I will say out of most Why Chooses I've ever read, I did feel like a connection with the characters. I thought both male characters had a lot of character growth and depth, which is usually something I struggle with in Why Choose as well, as I feel like one has a lot less depth or something like that. I did not feel that in this, but I still would say 3 stars, and I'd probably rate this like a 4 penne.
Dang,
and I would not recommend it for you because you don't like Why Choose.
No, I can't. I'm too psycho. Can't do it. I'm sorry.
And I respect it if you like it. It's totally fine. I think if you like 5 penne books, go for it. I don't care. It's just for me, when I start skimming, I see that I'm not as invested, and that's really where you lose me.
I would agree with you. We'll talk about this more. We'll debate about this more, but I do agree with you. There's more to be said there. Okay. The other book I read, the next book I want to tell you about, I recommend to you. Please go read it when you're ready to read it. Like 5 out of 5 stars. I'm obsessed.
Okay.
Metal Slinger. Metal Slinger.
I've seen nonstop things about this. This is also on my TBR. I'm very excited. Okay, so 5-star. What are you giving it on the spice scale?
Oh, also like a 2. It's not spice heavy, more than Rebel Witch or Heartless Hunter, but that's not the driving factor. But the plot is so good. There's something you totally like just don't see coming, and I don't even want to allude to it. I don't want to give anything away. It's so good. So good. 5 out of 5.
How long would you say it is?
Like just under 500 pages, but it's quick. It's so quick.
Yeah.
And I think that the world is so unique. It'll be fun to read because it is fantasy, romantasy, but the world that they're in is unlike any romantasy I've personally read. It's a lot like this is not a spoiler because it would be in the description. It's a lot like a Mad Max or like a Waterworld. It is so good. Could not put it down. Obsessed. The ending. Again, I'm not going to say anything to give it away, which is so hard for me not to do. Just did not see it coming. Fantastic. I can't wait for you to text me when you get there. Like, this, I loved it. Is it a series? It is.
Okay.
But it's not,
are the other books out yet? Okay, so just book 1 is out.
Correct. To my understanding. Correct. Okay. So good. That is my ultimate recommendation at this time.
Okay. Next, I went down a Kate Canterbary Bender, which, spoiler alert, we have booked her. She's going to be
Yeah.
on in a little bit. So
Mhm.
that episode, keep your eyes out for. We're very excited about this. So I went down a Bender. I read quite a few of her books. The top 4 I'm going to talk through are The Worst Guy and Change of Heart. They're in her like doctor series. It's very like Grey's Anatomy kind of style, I guess, where a lot of it takes place in the hospital from the romantic interest point of view. Out of the two, The Worst Guy was my favorite. I'd give it a 5-star. I was obsessed. It was like a grumpy sunshine. The sarcasm and the jokes in it were just so, I was like laughing in my room, like reading, giggling out loud, like just like rom-com fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one, 5 stars. Change of Heart, 4 stars. Also very good. A lot more fluffy, more piney. I think you'd like them both personally. But my heart just belongs to The Worst Guy. It was just too funny for me to put down.
Okay. I'm going to read it. I am so excited. We have some stuff that we're reading coming up, but that's on my list for sure because it sounds so good. I'm excited.
Binge ate it up. Like very, like I said, very rom-com-y, very fun, but just the characters and the humor in it, I was just so sold. I could not stop reading it.
Okay. I cannot wait to read it.
And then the 2 others that were in their own separate series was In a Jam and In a Rush. In a Rush was her newest release.
Yes.
Both were 5 stars, both pining. She writes such great pining male leads where they're just like obsessed from the get-go or from the past. But I would say they're all around like that 3 spice, again, traditional contemporary 3 spice. I would honestly recommend all of it. I would say go on your Bender through your Kate Canterbary because she is, if you haven't started your journey with her, she's phenomenal, all in Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Well, you did recommend In a Rush and In a Jam to me, and I loved them both. In a Jam, fantastic.
So good.
I love the male main character. Fantastic.
So good. And there's like a slight crossover in one of the future ones where I'm glad I kind of read it because I think I technically read it backwards. I'm not sure the release order, but they mention the hot MMC from In a Jam and running into him at the farmer's market and how they all like lust after him. And I was like, oh my God, it's Noah. It's the MMC.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, you know what I mean? Just like small rewards. I was like, oh my God.
I love that. Don't hate me because I could be way off. Is Noah a redhead?
He might be. This is what I'm saying. There are all these like different like MMCs I've been reading, but I think he's one of those brownish with a red
Auburn.
hue. Auburnish.
Yes.
Also bearded. Oh. What does your beard look like, man?
We need Kate Canterbary. We need to know beard specifically. What is the hue? What are the shades? Are there multiple shades? Is it all unicolor? What is the shade? What is the deal? Okay. The next book I read changed my life, and I know you're never going to read it, but I need to tell you about it. It changed my life. You may read it. Okay. It has nothing to do with romance, but it's called The Midnight Library. And it is about, it's like fantasy contemporary. This woman is really upset in her life. And again, that's not a spoiler because it's off the bat. She's super depressed. She hates her life. She somehow gets to a magical library where every book is a life she could have lived. So it really deals with like regret, choices we've made. Would you have taken another path? But the less, I don't want to spoil anything, but it sounds depressing, but it's not.
I was like, that sounds like a mad bummer.
No. But the lessons in the book, again, I don't want to spoil anything. I cannot recommend it enough. The lessons in that book, we all need. It's one of those books that you read and you're like, whoa.
It changes your perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. 5 out of 5.
I won't read it, but I respect
You won't read it. Read it.
Did she make out with anybody in the past or not?
I'm going to give that away because that's actually like a huge spoiler. But it is, if you're ever in the mood, so good.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next was a little bit of an LJ Shen obsession. We just had her on. I was going through her whole catalog. I read Bad Cruise, which is kind of more like it's a lot less heavy on from an LJ Shen perspective.
Okay.
It was very good. It was, I would say, 4 stars. Lighter on the penny as well. I would say 2.5, 3.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
But I think the only reason I struggled with it and didn't rate it 5 stars is just because I was so angry for the FMC that like and it gets like, I don't want to spoil anything. Things obviously, like, it's a great book. The plot is good, and that's what you want me to feel. But I was like furious. Like,
Wow.
I felt like I had been slighted by people.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I think like I just couldn't move it into the 5-star because like I was too angry. Like it hit too close to home where I was like, not for any reason, not that these things happened to me, but I felt like they had, and I felt like I had been personally victimized.
Oh my God.
I just have a hard time moving past it. Where I was just like, yeah, I was like, hit somebody at this point. Like,
fight for yourself. Oh my God. You know, LJ Shen, she does such a good job at that.
Yeah.
Like when it gets you in your heart, like right there. Like it's like,
and it's like, exactly. And it's like, that was the point, but I was just so angry that I had a hard time giving it that extra star because I was so mad. And then we both read this, and we can talk about it if you want.
Yes.
It's My Dark Prince. I'm going to call that a 6-star. It is the third book in the Dark Prince Road series. It's Oliver's book. It was so good.
I agree. So good. Oh my God. 6 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
The pining, the backstory.
Oliver,
just amazing.
And the plot, I felt like, changed and evolved several times throughout the book, which I really liked because it didn't feel like one long plot. It felt like a pivoted plot. And I can't say it any other way without giving spoilers, and I don't want to because I think it was just such a good read. Absolutely recommend. I hope that there's more in the Dark Prince Road series. I think that we got her to admit she's never saying no to it.
True. The door is open. There's a chance.
Door is open. Also, I'd say 3 penny.
Yeah, I'd say 3 penny. Oh, I loved that book. That is what, like, so far in 2025, one of my favorite reads of the year. So
it put me in a slump for a little bit where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to read that's going to hold up to that.
Yeah.
Which is when I found Kate Canterbary, and she pulled me out. She was like, man, let me revive you.
Here, I'm here for you. Here you go.
She extended a hand, and I took it.
Exactly. She's a Kate fairy. She's like a book fairy. My last book that I read before we talk about a book that we both read was, again, I don't think you're going to read it, but maybe one day you will. It's called The Housemaid is Watching, and it's book 3 in the Housemaid series. Fantastic. So this is like a thriller whodunit series.
Okay.
Whatever you think is going to happen when you're halfway through the book, it goes in a completely different direction that you did not see coming. And I know this author does it, Frida McFadden. Every book I've read, every time I'm like, well, I know there's a twist. I know I don't know what's actually happening. But every single book, I don't see what the twist is. And every time I get to that point, I'm like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. So I just read book 3 in the Housemaid series. I can't speak highly enough of that series. They're really short. They're like thriller mystery whodunits, I would say. But they're all like something that really hits your heart in the mystery. It's not just like they're like an Agatha Christie, like there was a... It's all something where you're really personal. So you're invested. So good. So good.
I see her books everywhere. I just have never pulled the trigger.
Also, no romance.
Yeah. I mean, that's not always bad. It's just, I don't know what it is about thriller. I feel like I'm going to have like nightmares.
This series would give you nightmares. It would get, because it's dark, but very good.
I'm happy for you yet again.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the book that you and I both just finished?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So good. We read it in like 24 hours because it came out like a day ago.
And
already done. Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is book 3 in the Rose Hill series. I think it's the best one in the series.
I agree with you. It's my favorite for sure. I think it's best.
It hit so close to home for me. So something you can learn about me is that I'm actually a big wrestling fan.
Yes.
I love WWE. Yes. I have a belt on my desk. Like, I am dedicated to the sport. So when I found out that he was going to be a wrestler, because they don't really tell you. So I saw it in like one of the ARC reviews where somebody said like, oh, he's a wrestler. I was like, shut the
You're like, hang on.
Oh my God. I pictured, and if you don't watch wrestling, you can go ahead and Google him because he is gorgeous. Roman Reigns, as the MMC. I pictured him. I was like, yes, I ate it up.
Yes. Oh my God. I so agree with you. The minute you texted me that you envisioned Roman Reigns, because I envisioned someone very different, but the minute you texted that, I was like, yes, please. I would venture to
Gorgeous
say,
man.
Gorgeous Man, my favorite, but also my favorite Elsie Silver book of them all.
Oh yeah. It was the heartstrings that were pulled. There were so many emotional moments. I really liked the way she built the story and the way she delivered it. I had fears towards the end that something was going to happen that did not happen. And I was so happy, like just all around loved the story. I cannot say enough positive things about it without deeply spoiling it.
Yes, yes. And I think we can say high level, it's marriage of convenience, because I think that's in the blurb.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan and I were obsessed with this book. We have so many thoughts to say about all the things we loved about it. We did do a Wild Eyes episode. So if you would like a Wild Side episode deep dive, comment and let us know, because Jordan and I would love the opportunity to dive into this book and talk all about it and spoil it.
So if you want us to spoil it and get into it, because there's so much to unpack there. And I definitely don't want to spoil it here, but I could talk about that book for a while. I could speak.
Samesies. I mean, we might just have to have a side chat about it.
So good. So I rated it 6 stars again. And I would say 3 penny also.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was good. And I will say this redeemed Elsie Silver a little bit in my eyes.
Oh my God. I don't know how you didn't love what I'm just going to pretend you didn't.
I can't get over it.
I've loved the whole series, so you're crazy.
I mean, I loved Wild Love, and then I love Wild Side. Wild Eyes, different story.
Just get over the bear.
There's so many other things.
Did you cringe when you saw her in this book?
No, because she behaved so differently. She didn't behave the way she behaved in Wild Eyes. Yeah. I loved this book. I love this book, and I love our female main character.
Yes. Okay.
What do we want to debate first? There's so much.
So, I have another dumb thing to bring up.
Okay, do
it. Okay. Something that I've noticed a lot in books, and again, this is like a stupid Jordan moment, and I'm fine with that. So it's okay if we're just laughing at how dumb I am. The phrase lip curl in books. Okay. I took a specific snip from a book. Her lip curled. Don't trouble yourself on my behalf, is what she says. When your lip curls, are you smiling? Are you frowning? Or are you like rabid dogging her?
That's what I think of. I think of like one lip being up. I think of like an animated cartoon villain. Like
think about if you said something upsetting to me and I was like, I just like, I don't know. How do you describe that for somebody not watching? Like rolling your lip up, just like baring your teeth. One could say.
Baring your teeth, you had to make the lip go in.
Like
this, like the lip needs to come out. To do it the other way. Like you need to.
But is that what you picture? You picture like the creepy hot dog roll?
I do. I picture someone's lip going like this, like Elvis.
Oh, like the Billy Idol.
Yes. Hang on. Exactly. Yeah, you're doing it. That's
so it's like a twitch.
Yeah, like, I literally can't do it.
Don't trouble yourself. It looks like I smelled something gross. It looks like I smelled a fart. It
totally does.
Like imagine trying to show someone you're disgusted with them and then giving them a fart smell face. Like
that would be. I mean, you just have to laugh. Like,
because it's like lips twitch means like a smile or a frown, which like I would understand if like the lip curl was like give me an eye roll or something, but a Billy Idol fart smelling lip curl is a little off for me.
You know what? All I've learned from these points in books is it is an instant diffuser because you would just laugh. You would just be like, oh God.
There are so many like tension-based moments in books that I would just be cracking up at this person. Like the MMC, the FMC. I'd be like, are you okay?
Obviously you're not okay. Oh my God. It made me think of this. Or did you fart? Because you need to go poop. And
did you smell something?
This did not smell good. Oh my God.
That's just how I'm feeling, man. That's just how I'm feeling. I'm struggling with it.
We need to know. Okay. I have a debate. I mean, I have so many things to talk to you about. It's been too long. I have to ask you because
it's been so many years.
It's been
how many years?
Years.
I know you know the lines.
It's been 84 years. Yeah, it's been too long. So this is becoming extremely common in books. We're not going to name names because I don't want to be a spoiler, but it's multiple books that we've read recently, or I've read, and you have strong feelings on as well.
Okay.
What is it with love triangles between brothers?
Oh, God.
Can we stop this? Like, to me, this is like, just how is this going to work out long term? Okay, so you have a love triangle between two brothers. You're going to be at a family dinner table across from your previous love interest while you're with their brother.
I have twofold problems with it, right?
Yeah.
One is that this trope can only work if one of the characters is so bad that they get dropped from the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Eric is a real dick and no one invites him to Christmas anymore and we don't talk to him, right? He does something so unforgivable, he gets cut from the family, okay? That makes sense, right? That is fine, okay? The second thought is you should never be able to sit at a family dinner and say, that's not how he did it.
Yes. Yes. No, you should not be able to. Can you imagine?
Think
the
of
parents.
The lack of bro code, okay? Did you ever? It's like a bro hopper. Like you just go for friends. Like if there's three of them and you're on round 2, you know the third one's like, when's my turn?
Yes, which is so like, why are we making this a trope? To me, for me, it's a personally detested trope. Give me rivals. Give me anything like where the two male main characters in the love triangle are rivals. Yeah. Maybe they're colleagues. Maybe they're
he could be evil. Make the brother evil. But make him cut worthy.
Exactly. But if we're not the kind of evil that's hot, not the like villain gets the girl. I mean like evil. not that, but like
villain. Don't confuse me.
I mean, so then there's no triangle. It's that one. The triangle's done, but no, like really bad that they're excommunicated because you cannot have family reunions.
No.
Once that's happened.
Also, think about like your own sibling. Like if my sister dated any of my ex-boyfriends, not even like the other way, me taking them. I'm talking her dating them after. That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just not camaraderie. I also feel like though, okay, but I feel like this is a IRL feeling, right? Like, how does one feel in real life? Because like, for example, like the friends dating ex-boyfriends, if one of you guys dated one of my ex-boyfriends, I'd be like, how does it feel to be to me?
Yeah, no, that to me, that's an unforgivable offense. As you know, I would my blood a boil. My blood a boil.
Because they would be like, because they would tell you the reasons that you guys broke up.
I know.
Think about
it would
that
just
alone.
be icky.
Like,
and then also like they're your
Don't
friend,
talk about her
and
like
then
that.
you go and talk like, and then you're like, ew.
And then it's always on the table. Do you ever think about them?
Exactly.
Do you miss them?
And then you'd see them, like assuming that you're still friends with that person. And then the brother, you're assuming you're going to see your brother.
Yeah.
You're going to have to see them. So you're going to have to
take a long walk at Christmas, or are you going to be like,
oh my God. 1,000%. Ooh.
Yucky.
Yeah. No. Yucky.
No,
So I do think, as a side note, there is a resurgence of love triangles in books, in romance books. I think they're becoming more common.
Yeah.
And I think they off for a little bit. I do think there's a resurgence of love triangles and the frequency that we see them, which isn't bad, but please, not between brothers.
No.
Or sisters. Just not between family members.
Yeah.
Please.
Unless, again, you're ready to cut him. Make him evil.
Exactly. But like evil. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, what do you want to debate?
Okay. Something that I have felt in my recent journey, because you know I am a huge fan of the reformed Playboy trope. But what I've found is that there is a clear line for me of how much I can learn about that reformed Playboy in order to still like him. So I wanted to discuss where the line is for you, because you're much harsher on the reformed Playboy.
Yes.
So what is the line for you of things about the reformed Playboy and his past? Where do you draw the line?
Okay, I'm trying to think of reformed Playboys that like where I'm like, okay, because the line is very upfront. I hit the line very quickly. I will say, if we're reading a book, it has to be firmly in their past, and there has to be a period of time where they reflect. He's like, you know what? Those were my previous behaviors. I don't want to live that way anymore. And now I've fallen in love with this new girl.
I will say, okay, so there are sometimes like a reformed Playboy is fine, I think, where it's active. as long as it is in the trope of they are friends currently.
Oh, no,
Like,
strongly disagree. I'm glad we're debating. Strongly disagree.
I don't think you do. Okay, I'm going to present
Okay.
an argument. Okay, The Deal.
Yeah, but that is just a really well-written book. And
That's what I'm saying. In the beginning of the book, there is a tier of things they go through. I would say they go from annoyance, like not knowing each other, like annoying acquaintances, to friends, to lovers. That is like the trope.
Okay.
I would say up even until mid-friend point of view, the MMC is not celibate.
No,
Now,
you're right.
It's not everybody, but it's not celibate.
No, but there's a distinction there that you just called out. So I'm glad there's a line, as we're going to talk about.
Yes.
They were not friends for like forever. They were enemies, animosity.
Yes.
If it is a trope, I'm thinking of like In a Rush. I'm not going to give anything away, but like In a Rush, they were friends forever. At that point, if you've been friends and your love interest has been in your life, you cannot be a Playboy.
I totally agree with that.
Okay. That is the line. In The Deal, it makes sense because not trying to give anything away, but they start out with animosity.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. You're not holding out for somebody you don't like.
Exactly.
And what I found is like, depending on how much you put it in my face. So like,
Yes.
there are MMCs that are much more Playboy upfront, or the way they talk about women is a lot more Playboy upfront. And I find that like I am having a really hard time forgiving it if it's really in your face Playboy.
Yeah.
It has to be like discreet, like every now and then. I have to be able to rationalize it as somebody that I would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, because I think when it's really in their face, even if they're not together at that portion of the book, it comes off disrespectful. No matter what, if it's really in the face.
Yes. Or like they're talking about their past exploits in such a trophy hanging way. I don't like that either. And I'm just finding that I'm reading a lot more of those Playboys where I've had to DNF a lot more, where I've been like, oh, you can't have my daughter.
Right. Exactly. Also, it's because you're coming over to the pining side. This is a development.
Something's going on.
This is a development. Man. Yeah.
I'm going through a change. I'm going through a metamorphosis.
You're a butterfly? Okay. So I have another topic to debate with you. We all love the enemies to lovers trope, right? Like, yes. I do think it's a beloved trope. What I have started to realize with more books that I've read, enemies to lovers, I don't personally, so I want to hear your thoughts. I don't personally love it when they're genuinely enemies.
Oh, really?
Like, I want it to be
so you like salty.
Exactly, because it's the same argument of like, how far is too far? And I also
you're thinking like Veiled Kingdom.
Exactly. In other books where there's one that I have in mind where it's just like, you've just hated each other for so long, for 3/4 of this book. I do not believe in the last quarter you've flipped a switch. For me, it is starting, and I don't know if tastes are just changing. It is starting to feel unbelievable. I want to see pining, angst, and tension, but there's animosity for some reason or another. But you know all along that they have feelings for each other. But that's not genuine enemies. That's like, there's animosity or there's a misunderstanding. And then they go through that and they get together. But I just read a book where they were true enemies for the majority of the book, and then all of a sudden they're attracted to each other and have feelings. And I'm like, you just spent the majority of the time hating each other, and you had valid reasons for hating each other, and all of a sudden you want to have sex. Like, I mean, I guess you can hate it out, but like, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know.
I think it can make sense depending on how it's written. I could see how if they don't build it up correctly, that it would be like, whoa, where'd that come from? But I will say, when written correctly, a true enemy situation does walk that fine line between love, because it is a version of obsession. Like, think about somebody you truly hate. Like, they walk in a room and you're like, you know what I mean? Like, direct eye contact, fuck you. You know what I mean? Right. That is a tier of obsession, in the same way that you see somebody you really like walk in a room and you're like, wow, I love you, you're beautiful. Versus a stranger, they don't even register on your radar. So I think when written correctly, it makes sense. I think that you have to be able to be given a journey that makes whatever happens from a hate point of view worth it. I think it was something LJ Shen said, and I think it makes perfect sense, which was the sins they commit have to equal the trauma or the hatred or the trigger behind it, right? And if those things meet, then forgiveness is abound.
I love that. Very profound.
Thank you. I half thrifted it from LJ Shen.
I can see that. I can see that. Maybe it was just the way that the books that I've been reading recently, and also the journey that I've been on in the books that I'm thinking of where this has happened, it also led to a lot of back and forth because they were enemies for so long. They constantly had to go back and be like, ooh, but I hate you. I like you, but I hate you. And it just, you and I both don't like waffling. We don't like it.
I can't handle waffling.
Yeah.
I think, especially depending on how long they spend in that waffling, that's when it starts to become not well written to me. Is like, totally. If you're sitting there like, he's so hot, I hate him. He's so hot, I hate him. Then I'm like, nobody feels that way. Nobody is so hot for somebody that they are like, oh, but he's my dad and that's fine. No. You have to make it make sense. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, you wouldn't be like, he's hot. Maybe the first time you'd be like, he's hot, but he's an asshole. And then you'd move on. You wouldn't be every time he walks in the room like, ooh. Like, no, nobody does that.
No. I do think if you truly hate someone, I would venture to say you probably don't find them sexually attractive. I could be wrong.
I think if you truly hate somebody, you can find the most basic of things to hate. Like, absolutely. Have you heard the way that breathes?
Exactly. Exactly.
It is so annoying. And it's just oxygen. There's nothing wrong with the breathing.
The way that they breathe.
But if you dislike them enough in your head, that is annoying.
Very, very true. That is so true.
Yeah, it has to be set up in a way where you have to keep running into each other. It chips away at the hatred and you're like, wait a minute. Am I forgiving you?
Oh, because forgiveness is real. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is true. It happens. I mean, for some people, it happens. I just thought
have you ever seen what's the movie with Ryan Reynolds and
Forgiveness.
Yes, forgiveness.
Yes. What is it? Is it just Friends?
Sorry. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So good. Anna Faris. Exactly. So good.
Anna Faris, thank you. Oh my God, yes. That's what I was thinking of. Is forgiveness is just more than saying sorry.
I literally heard that song in my head.
Last topic I want to talk about. Okay. Because it doesn't come up a lot, but I feel like it comes up a lot in sports romance, which you know holds a true place in my heart.
Yes.
And it is period blood in books. And
oh my God. We have so much to talk about with this. Yes. Ooh, yes.
It's a firm no for me.
Same. I don't want to read about it. I'm sorry. I don't want to read about it.
It could be the hottest book ever. It could be the best story ever. And it's almost always like, I'm gonna venture out here and I'm gonna say it's like usually like a hockey romance. And he's like, you think I'm scared of blood, babe? Ugh.
Oh, gross.
The actual gag, I don't want to read about it. I don't want to think about it. Don't write her period then. Just give the girl no period,
just leave
okay?
it out. Just leave it out.
Yeah.
I have so much to say. No judgment, because I do think that there are people who enjoy that, and I'm not going to judge you. I'm just saying my period is so terrible. Yeah. It's not possible. I just, no, thank you. So
but then on top of it, I just don't want to read it.
Same. That's because when I read it, I think of like early period for me, and then I'm like, no, please, I don't want to read it. Please.
And it's just like, maybe it's the like inner OCD in me, but when I think about it too, my brain just goes to logistics. It's out of time and it's in like, are we putting down a towel?
Yep.
There better be a condom first and foremost.
Oh my God. Because can you imagine if there's not a condom?
Right. And then on top of that, like when... No. I mean, just think about the logistics of it, okay?
No. And then, oh my God. Okay. So I don't want to spoil a book, so I'm not going to say the name, but I just read a book. I actually cracked up because I saw we both kind of put this in our notes about period blood. I just read a book where they derived power from their period blood. Like they collected it. They could make things happen with it.
No.
And so they had to collect that.
No.
And use it for magic.
No.
And every time I thought about them using it for magic, I was like, we're going to get TMI. We're going to get real. The smell.
Oh.
The smell.
No.
And
Is it in a bucket?
I don't know how she collected it. We didn't get details on how it was collected, but it was collected and used. I don't want to give this book away, but she would write things on herself with it. And then she would maybe write it on the floor with it. She had to use it for things to happen. It happened early on in the book, and I was like, excuse me, what? What am I reading?
You know what, too, I think of is like, okay, even taking it one step back even is when they do oral.
Mm-hmm.
And then what, they kiss you and it tastes like iron?
I'm shooketh. I guess
like,
that's what it
that's
tastes like.
That's like a thing, right? You know what I mean? Like the red mustache thing. Like,
well.
It's all a no for me.
It's all a no for me.
I'm sorry. All a no. It is a firm.
It's a firm no. And again, yeah, it's a firm no.
We're not. It's like, and there has been books that I've really liked, and then I've gotten to a scene like that, and I've been like, and
no more. And we're not here to judge. Again, if people like that, we're not here to judge. It's just for us personally. Again, I'm thinking of a huge ick. I can't do it. Never move on from that. No. That would stay with me for the rest of my life. And every time I would never move on from being kissed with my own.
Stop. Okay.
Like, yeah.
I'm getting full body chills every time you say it.
Gross out.
My body is literally repulsing.
I'm going to pass out. This is going to be the podcast episode where Sheridan faints because I hate blood. Side note, something you'll learn about me on this podcast, I am extremely squeamish.
Yes. Oh my God, I used to live with you too. Yeah. I want to take it even one step further, okay? And it is, I'm also kind of over even just like the taking care of the period girl. Unless it's like a scene where she's got like endometriosis, like a true condition, like where you're like, oh, okay. Like I do like that, or it's fine. I just don't like when it's like I've got cramps and he does all these things and I just get like,
get annoyed.
I don't know what it is about it that it's just like it loses its acts of service energy for me.
Oh, interesting.
It's just like, okay, just leave her alone. Let her be.
Well, I think that's probably a personal, like when we're reading, we do put ourselves in the shoes of the female. And I do think that's
true.
Yeah. And I think when they're bad, like just personal experience, you want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Like I think you do.
I'm not the kind of pampered person. Like if I am sick, I want you to bring me things and I want you out of there.
You're like, I will take care of myself. Thank you.
I want it like a prison gate. Okay, you drop off my food, you get on your way,
and we don't interact from there. Just slide it into the door. Thank you.
Put it in the slot and get out of here, man.
That's so funny. I think it's just like because that's also it's almost overstimulating. It's overwhelming to a point when you're in pain and you're crampy, and then people are like on top of you. You're like, for the love of the love, I'm going to blow my lid. Like, exactly. I can see that.
If you saw this and you thought, touch her, wrong signals.
See that. Oh, same. But I think it's just the wanting to be alone. Yeah. Interesting. Because we do when we read, we put ourselves in those shoes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first through the grapevine. If you like what you heard, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Sippin on Spice.
Yes. And we also have a YouTube channel where we have previously released episodes on there, but we also release just like fun bookish content and bookish videos. So please check us out on YouTube and like and subscribe.
Yes. Hope to see you next week. Cheers.